Right? So, I have decided to record or, well, document my project. So, at work, I got we got a 3D printer. I was trained to do the basics, and then after that, I had to do things alone. But after a while, I get, I start to like it. Over time, I ended up decided to get my own 3D printer. So, here's my project. Make my own compressed air engines. Well, engine. Singular, not plural. So, this is what I am up to at this point. A simple, small, quote-unquote engine with a rectangular piston. So here's the situation. I just got my 3D printers like 2 or 3 days ago as I'm recording this. And I also have just started to learn Fusion 360 in last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and use it maybe twice a week. This is my third iteration of the engine. My first try, I didn't even make the conrod long enough, so the piston ended up smacking the crank amongst other things. So my second iteration, well, it worked just fine. And then so I go on to this one, the third iteration, with the change of taking the second iteration engine and modifying the parts to be easy to print. That said, I'm still pretty new to this 3D printing stuff. And, well, as you can see here, I got a hole for the intake and a hole for the exhaust. That's it. I got nothing else. Yeah, the engine is not done. I still haven't made the valve frame, as in the time where the air comes in and, well, comes out. It only has a hole, so yeah. So it's a bit like real-life two-stroke engines. You get the power from the top, and then about when the piston reaches a point, it just opens up to the exhaust. There is no exhaust valve needed. Or does the valve need to push the engine air out? I thought this was the most efficient way, seeing this is only a compressed air engine. Maybe eventually I will make it a steam air compatible. For now, this is what I do. So, my inspiration, well, I've wanted to make some sort of small model engine for a long time. I just haven't been able to make them or successfully made them. And now, with the advent of 3D printers and me being able to afford them, I can start it. So, I wanted to make a compressed air engine. I looked up at the internet and found this. It works, but I hate it. It's so inelegant. It's simple. It works, but I hate it. I just don't like the oscillating cylinder. I absolutely hate it. this is what at first made me decide that I want to design my own. So after that, I also look around still and see if anyone else has done it. I found him, G. Martin, with his YouTube channel name, which was, there we go. Yeah, this is his video. He made this engine, which is mostly 3D printed except for the bolts, nuts, and the hardware stuff. But I thought, yeah, the engine is good. It runs great. Actually, except for two things. One, it's pretty big. I actually need to have a air compressor, which we don't have at home, because this needs to run at a pretty high pressure. So I still look around. I found him, Tom Stanton, with his excellent small air engine with a check valve as an intake. The engine is great. It runs from a bike tire pump. If you see his video, which his channel is also named Tom Stanton. Yeah, it's just that I thought I could do better. Ball check valve means, well, the ball is a big air resistance, and then there's a cam friction resistance. Even though he uses bearings, I will need to use this. Plus, I thought it's possible to make a complete engine without bolts, which is also a big factor why I want to design my own engines. I want it to be mostly 3D printed, probably except for the bearings. I can't get around the fact that 3D printed bearings are supposedly pretty shit in actual usage. And then I don't want to use extra hardware like nuts, bolts, screws and such. It's just a pain to procure for me. Or I'm just lazy, but still, sometimes laziness breeds other things. And then I found this video. Which is genius. Great. I found no problem with this engine except for the fact that it's a 4-cylinder. I'm still learning, so I only want a single cylinder. But out of all of this, yeah, I have two parts here and there from all of these projects. From this thing, I learned that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need a big flywheel. And then from this, I'm not sure what I learned from this one. Oh yeah, the exhaust port. I don't need the exhaust port to be on the top, like on this engine. Is there a better angle? Yeah, the engine goes on this side. There's a port here, goes into the cylinder, pushes the piston down. And then when the engine rocks to that side, there's another hole for the engine to blow through. That's a bit of a waste of power. The engine needs to push the air out, right? So this is what started the whole idea. This is where I take the exhaust port on the bottom idea, like a two-stroke engine, just different placement. And from him is where I took the square piston idea. Here, well, in my case, rectangular. And from this one, I took the idea of a rotary valve. I'm going to eventually make a rotary valve. And just two simple gears to drive the valve. Duh. So simple. It's just a tube with holes driven by a gear. Done. So yeah, but first, I still need to learn about tolerances, clearances with a 3D printer. How much I have to anticipate it or mitigate. What about the nozzle size? I just got my 3D printer. It has 0 upgrades. I don't have any other nozzle. It's on the standard 0.4 millimeter nozzle. And then I still don't know how to make a gear in this program. Yeah, it might be a small engine, but it's a big project for me because I know jack shit. So far, I have printed this thing, the crank journal, and as I'm recording this, the printer is currently printing this base and quote-unquote cylinder part. I'll see how it goes, and maybe I'll make an update on this. Maybe attach some pictures of the parts too. I don't know. Right, so here we go. So, a few dozen print tries later, I finally managed to cobble something that fits together. Right, the base didn't really have any problem. It printed once and it's perfect. This is the crank journal, but you see, yeah, the bottom part. Focus, man. Focus. Phone. There we go. Somewhat better. Well, you can see it's like it's melted. It seems that 1 millimeter is too thin figures, but it works enough compared to the other prints. Again, I'm still new. A few dozen prints, and most of them are me trying to figure out the printer. Okay, so this, the conrod, is also not perfect, but it's serviceable. But this little thing though, the piston pin, was an absolute ass and nightmare. I printed like this small thing 5-6 times, and only after that did I manage to get this, which is an absolute snug fit with some persuasion. I cannot get this out anymore. Well, I can, but at the risk of breaking either the conrod or itself. The piston, as you can see, those are the failed prints. Those are either too rough, the holes were not quite clear enough, or see, the first layer, I printed this upside down, we're making holes. So yeah, this is going in the trash. This, well, not the best print, but this is the one that works. It still has hole. If the camera can focus, you can see that. Focus, dude. Right. I think you can just make out that it's not quite smooth. It has some holes if you see it directly, but yeah, that's my fault. I didn't put enough infill in this. And then the crank. I'm like blind now. My hand is covered by the phone. Is, well, this knob, too bright, there we go. This knob, which is supposed to connect to here, was too big, so I altered the file and made it 0.1 millimeters smaller. As I figured out, 1.1 millimeters smaller is not enough. At least not enough for the nozzle I have. Also, it's warped on the bottom side. So, give me a second and I'll put this together. There we go. It turns. Right. See, there's a problem. Right here. You see how this smashes this? I have to pull this out just a little bit so it's bent, then it can work. I think you can just about see the piston moving inside the cylinder too. You can see the shadow. Yeah. And then, oh yeah, this little thing. I meant to put this here. I meant to use this so I can blow with my mouth and see it moves. That's it. Period. Well, as it turns out, that was not my main problem, of course. So, the problems, or not the problems, the lesson I learned. 1. Yes, I thought rectangle piston. Not a good idea. Tolerances. I need a lot more than I thought. And then, yeah, I should go with the circular piston as normal. And then, what else? Oh yeah, the piston is way too flimsy, too thin. I thought making it light would be enough. Instead, no, it's not. Plus, it's, yeah, you know, a pain to print. Well, that's it. Also, for some reason, why does when plastic PLA clashes with PLA, it makes this dirty black spots? I don't know why.